We finally got to drive the NIO ET7. I'm sure over the past couple days, you've already seen plenty of ET7 test drive videos, but this one is still worth watching. Because in this video, I want to share with you what NIO has truly done well, reaching a new level. What NIO was always going to do, filling in the gaps, and where on the ET7, NIO is still working to balance, where that balance isn't quite there yet. Let's get in and keep going. I'll start with a clear conclusion. Compared to the exterior design, the ET7's interior achieves a much bigger breakthrough. No design pleases everyone, but the ET7 shows a high-end design identity, independent of BBA Lexus and Volvo, one that's originally Chinese. I personally really like this light-colored, microfiber suede, leather, and renewable wood grain trim combined together into an elegant, high-quality feel. On the exterior, one detail stands out, that watchtower-style sensor bar up top, with a high-performance LiDAR and two 8-megapixel side-front cameras. From the start, NIO never intended to blend it into the body, but instead treated it as a signature design language for the smart driving era. This small design detail reflects NIO's design values, and it's consistent with the ET7's interior design exploration. It's also the fruit of NIO's years-long design-driven strategy. Compared to the S8, the ET7's advantages, it launches with 850 battery swap stations nationwide, bringing convenient battery swapping. Go download the NIO app. There might be one near you, but there's a small trade-off to accommodate a battery pack as tall as an SUV's 140mm. The ET7 needed to balance the car's overall stance, including seating position, more carefully. From actual experience, compared to a similar Class 5 Series or A6, or EVs like the Taycan and Model 3, the ET7's seating position really is a bit higher. It takes a bit to get used to the first time you sit in, but it's a minor flaw, not really a problem. Just a small stance adjustment. Same goes for the exterior side profile. Compared to similar fastback sedans, the ET7 sits a little bit taller, but it barely affects the overall stance. Do you want better legroom or a bigger trunk? I believe any adult would say both, right? But NIO clearly chose to lean toward very generous legroom, and as a result, trunk space is a bit weaker compared to similar class rivals. Some friends disagree on this point, arguing that buyers of a 500,000 yuan class full-size sedan probably care more about rear legroom than about trunk space. So they think NIO's trade-off is totally fine. Now we've got another car, an Aurora Green ET7, but whether it's Aurora Green or Antarctic Blue, they actually share the same powertrain. A front motor rated at 180 kilowatts, and a rear motor at 300 kilowatts, close to 650 horsepower, and 850 newton-meters. A top-tier powertrain by any measure. But what I really want to talk about is the effort put into energy efficiency. For example, during daily commuting, the car drives in front-wheel drive mode, using just the 180 kilowatt permanent magnet motor up front, and the ET7 is only the second car in China to use silicon carbide power modules, which cuts energy consumption by 4 to 6%. Finally, on aerodynamics, this car has a drag coefficient of just 0.208, matching the Tesla Model S Plaid, tied for second best in the world. Whether it's the silicon carbide or that 0.208 drag coefficient, both really show that NIO's engineering on this cutting-edge tech has truly reached world-leading levels. In theory, the energy consumption issue that plagued NIO's earlier models should be much better optimized on the ET7. Unfortunately though, today's test drive was on a closed course, so we can't give you real-world commuting energy figures yet. You can look forward to that though. Once we get a test car next month, we'll share its real energy consumption. Oh, and the door handles, you don't need to pull them outward. Just a light touch, and they pop open automatically, and a gentle push lets the door suction shut on its own. Very elegant. I'm sure you've seen plenty of ET7 test drive videos these past couple days, and they've all praised its mechanical quality highly. After 2+ hours of careful driving, I'll say this: they're right. Let me share a couple parts of the mechanical experience that impressed me most. Like last night on this stretch of road, we drove over countless manhole covers, and body control and shock absorption were clearly well handled. It's just that in comfort mode, the suspension is softer, filtering out more vibration. But even in the sportiest mode, where the suspension is stiffest, the ET7 is still a very comfortable car. Later we found a stretch of rougher road, and this is where it got really impressive. The ET7 suspension is very crisp and clean. In comfort mode it genuinely feels like riding a boat. You can really feel the suspension moving in slow motion. The body rises and settles very gently, with no extra vibration at all. This comfort-oriented tuning shows up in the throttle too. I want to point out that even in the 0 to 60-2 and 3.8 seconds Sport Plus mode, the throttle still isn't overly aggressive right off the bat. When you press the pedal to about 10% travel, the ET7 feels more like it's just gathering itself, but keep pressing further, and all 650 horsepower comes rushing out at once. Note this isn't throttle lag or dead zone. It's more like a comfort-oriented tuning choice that's matched to the chassis. To sum up, whether it's acceleration, braking, steering, or chassis, the ET7 is a full step up from NIO's earlier 866 models. And more importantly, this is just the start. The ET7 also comes with China's first self-developed suspension control system, which lays the groundwork for continued iteration and improvement after delivery. As for NVH, even though this car has frameless windows, it uses double-layer laminated glass front and rear. As for how well that actually works, let's check a real test. Now let's get in and try out the sound system. The digital cockpit system on our test car is version 0.70, and some features are still a bit unstable or missing, so a detailed review isn't very meaningful right now. Still, we can already tell that even though it runs the same NIO OS, the ET7's cabin adds a lot more transition animations, including plenty of 3D cabin visualizations, making the interactions feel much better to use. Of course, worth noting here, an Android-based digital cockpits, launching in 2022. The Snapdragon 8155 will be a mainstream chip, so I'd argue smooth animations should really be considered a baseline capability for the ET7, not a real differentiator. One disappointment from this test drive is that because it runs NIO's second-gen smart platform, the ET7's digital cockpit and driver assistance are still being actively developed, and we'll try them again after official delivery and share our thoughts then. But even looking at this as critically and rationally as possible, I think you'd have to admit that when it comes to meeting the common demands for a high-end smart electric sedan, things like design, space, power, efficiency, and comfort, the ET7 is basically an all-rounder, truly excellent despite its minor flaws. Compared to the ES8, delivered back in 2018, the ET7 makes the C-segment sedan market much more exciting to watch. From this brief experience, setting aside licensing and subsidies, it genuinely has what it takes to compete against similar gas-powered rivals. A new era is here,